We're here from Arrow-Ace.
I'm Bastet. I'll be running your operation to investigate the unusual occurrences that have been happening everywhere recently.
Stay out of Antiborough. Stuck in time loop.
I guess it's a ghost plumbing situation.
Bastet has got us out of a lot of problems, but I don't think she can get us out of this one.
It wasn't all the bodies. There were 2 bodies.
Everyone else just got disappeared.
I went missing for a while and I lost my brother. I don't know where he is.
Oh, that's my mother. Oh dear.
It's the same mother that you keep describing as tyrannical and horrible.
Have to practice ritual fight with brother.
Ellie, can I make an insight check of myself but in real life?
To Deck of Many Aces, an actual play podcast made by actual asexuals. I'm mixing things up and doing finger guns. Bwame?
Yeah.
Bwame. Horrible.
I'm trying something new out. I'm going to start doing that on the rest of the podcast.
No, that's bad and wrong. Bad and wrong.
Bad. We are a group of people answering your questions.
Hey!
That's we're not playing anything today. We're just answering questions.
Actually, you didn't know this, but I'm taking over this entire session to make you all play Slug Blaster again.
Yeah!
Nice.
Slug Blaster 2. I did it again.
2 Slug, 2 Blaster.
Also, I apologise if my voice is croaky. I really hoped that I had the kind of asthma where you don't have to use your inhaler in the summer, and so I've not been using it. And it turns out I do need to use my inhaler in the summer. Womp womp. I'm Ellie, or Leo. I use they, them pronouns, and I'll be doing some of the questioning today, but also some of the answering.
Lots of the answering. There's lots of questions for Ellie.
Yeah. Ellie wrote all these questions themselves with no help from anyone else.
I did.
If we're on the Discord, no one needs to know.
I thought they came from the audience, but I guess they just all came from Leo.
Yeah.
Me? Who else is here? Real fast.
My name is Am and I am here.
Yeah. Sorry, Eiriol's just dying in the corner.
It sounded like you were sad. You had the oh.
Well, hello, I'm Chloe or Chloe. Use she, they pronouns. And I'm here too. I'm here and queer and full of tea at the moment. Doesn't rhyme, but I had a lot of tea. It's great.
Oh, it's me! God!
Oh my god!
Oh!
Real crazy energy we're bringing to the podcast today.
Yeah, we're really we scuffed it. I think we should actually quit.
That's it.
I'm Eiriol. Yeah, I use she they pronouns. I'm done. I'm out. Actually, this is it. I'm gonna leave.
It's me, apparently. I'm Katie. I've been here. Eventually, I will not be here. Womp womp.
Isn't that true of all of us?
Yep.
Wow.
That's how life and death works.
Getting existential from the get-go.
Except for Morgan. Morgan is never going to die. Did I tell you that? Morgan's immortal and will never die?
Yeah, because Morgan's the time god.
Yeah,
of course.
Naturally. That's how that works.
No, they're not. They specifically said no to that. They read the job description and went, ah. Ooh.
I didn't mention this to you, but actually Morgan is immortal.
They've just always been immortal.
It was on the character sheet from day one in Invisible Ink, and Webster saw it in Invisible Ink and didn't object, so...
Anyway, that's what happens when you finish a campaign in an actual play podcast. You die in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are here today not to play Dungeons & Dragons, or any other TTRPGs, but to answer some questions about the campaign. We've had lots and lots of lovely questions. We probably won't have time to get through all of them, but we're going to select some ones that look fun and interesting and like we want to answer them. I will start us off with possibly the most pressing and relevant question from Nate, which is Tall Girls Pokemon starters.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, I thought you were going to be how my boy Yu-Gi-Oh go.
I'm so glad you asked. I've been thinking about this one for a while. I've been really thinking about this one.
I haven't.
I knew this would activate everyone.
We could do this in order, or you can kind of just jump in, I think.
I do have to Google the Pokemon stars.
I've been going through them. And I think Tozu would definitely have a fire Pokemon. Like I'm a grass starter. Nate knows this. But for me, I've been through all of them, and I think it would have to be. This was after my time in terms of Pokemon, but I know there's one that's a little pig.
Yes.
And it felt very, very Toz.
Incineroar?
Is it Tepig?
Tepig.
Tepig. Yeah, Tepig. Yeah, I think Tepig would probably be Toz's pick.
That is so cute.
I'm Googling all of these because I don't know anything about Pokemon.
On that subject, I know nothing about Pokemon. I am afraid a fake nerd, a fake fan who is not a Pokemon kid at any point. So I'm Googling a random Pokemon generator, and whatever comes up is going to be Morgan's...
No, because they're not all the starters.
They need to be the starters.
Yeah.
Morgan's kid-assigned Pokemon. God damn it, okay.
If somebody else who has more Pokemon knowledge wants to assign Morgan a Pokemon, I think that that's okay too. For the record, Tepig is extremely cute.
They all are.
Extremely cute.
They're all cute. They're made for children. What did you think they were going to do?
Not all of them are as cute as this.
They're made for all ages.
They are designed for children. They are accessible to everyone.
I think Katie should make up a starter Pokemon.
Yeah. I was literally at the game store quiz night last night, and there's always a drawing round, and the drawing round this week was draw your makeup Pokemon.
Okay, here's a random Pokemon starter from a random wheel. It says Bulbasaur.
That's my favourite Pokemon.
Basic, I know.
You did do a classic. You did a classic.
It is, but it's also a very basic, boring choice from a random wheel.
Yeah.
I hate all of you.
I also don't feel like Morgan has Bulbasaur energy.
No. Well, it's what the random thing said, though.
From my knowledge of Bulbasaur, who is extremely cute also, for what it's worth, big fan of Bulbasaur.
Morgan would have Sobble.
Okay, that's...
Yes!
Which is Sobble?
That's what God says. That's what it is now.
Is Sobble the frog one?
I have enough Pokemon knowledge for the entire podcast.
You do. Oh, Sobble is so cute! Sorry, I'm going to keep saying this.
Delphi does have to have a grass Pokemon. Is required. I think it would be Rowlet.
I love Rowlet.
Yeah, Rowlet's a good choice.
I also am slightly drawn to the Weed Cat, but I can't remember the name.
Sprigatito.
That's the one.
I also think Grookey could be like a good Delphi pick.
Nah.
Well, Sprigatito is very cute.
I have very tangential Pokemon knowledge, just generally. So I'm going to do this from memory, which means I can probably think of like maybe 5.
Good start.
I think Raina would also be a water Pokemon starter just because she has rain in her name.
And
also the sea.
And the Sailor.
That's how Pokemon does.
I was thinking that or fire. I don't think she'd be grass.
No.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Sprigatito though, and I was like, there's a little grass cat.
I think Oshawott, I think, is a starter, again, like, after I stopped playing the Pokemon games, but they're like a little water otter.
It's a little otter.
Who I think might be a good...
That
I
is
think
quite
they're a
cute.
starter.
I want
Yeah,
it.
that's one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a starter Pokemon.
He's so full of whimsy.
Yeah, I love
He is
Oshawott.
so full of whimsy.
What a cutie.
I think that might be a good one for Reina as Oshawott. I would like it to be Piplup because I love Piplup, but I don't
It's
think
my brother's
that-
favourite Pokemon.
I don't think that's Reina. There's the little meme that's just like Piplup forgot, and that's just me like all the
I'm
time.
now going to put some Pokemon memes in the chat.
Amazing. Well, once you've posted some Pokemon memes in the chat, I mean, we could go in order. We could do like a nice little circle thing, or we could just popcorn it.
I have a question.
I also have a question.
Well, go ahead then.
I have chosen a question from the list.
You choose. Yeah, fantastic.
It's a very selfish question, because it is. What was the deal with the flute and Kalacta's deal with Rayna's family that made him teach Rayna but keep her captive? Because I don't know. I would like to know.
Yeah.
That question was from Lou. Yes. What was the deal with Rayna's flute? So I will admit, I'll put my hands up that I remember when me and Chloe talked about Rayna's flute and the backstory. It was like, it's not a family heirloom. It's not been passed down generation to generation. And then
It was just my mum's flute.
it was just your mum's flute. And then I did the whole island arc, which was unplanned, and I was kind of burnt out. And I made some things canon, which I probably shouldn't.
To be fair, I think I did specify that I was like, okay, this is my mum's flute, but she didn't play it. Like, she had it for a reason, but I was like, I don't know what that is.
Yes.
It might just be that her mum played it.
Yeah, so what happened is that in a sort of similar set of circumstances, Rayna's grandmother fell through a portal and...
What are the chances?
But in a very sort of different kind of context, saw the flute, was like, ooh, treasure, cool, and grabbed it, and then, like, kind of realised that it belonged to somebody, but various things. Have I made this up? Have I actually thought about this bit of the story in depth? No.
Well, no, that's the entire prequel D&D campaign, of course.
There we
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
I will also say there's something really good as someone who's like GM'd for like a close friends before, for them to say, this is the case about this specific part of my backstory. And if you have enough trust between yourself as a GM and player, in your head you can be like, no, it's not.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Essentially, for one reason or another, the grandmother stole the flute. And the reason that Lenanon Kalacta taught Rayna but didn't, like, release her is basically just because God, I keep misgendering God.
Easily done.
It's,
The church does it all the
basically
time.
Whoa! It's essentially just because of their sort of desire to manipulate and their desire to exert power. In a lot of, obviously, like, traditional mythology, gods are kind of petty and don't necessarily respond to things in, like, a measured way or even in, like, necessarily a human way. And I think that Lenanon saw this kind of theft as a slight, and so it's not a coincidence, really, that it was Rayna that fell through the portal. It was almost sort of preordained that if she ended up in that kind of place, that she was going to be pulled through. And it was very much a trap that Lenanon Kalacta had set, to exert power and to show their sort of, like, dominance and to manipulate Rayna. And something that controlling people do is, and also controlling structures, is that they can, if they are the people bestowing wisdom or knowledge or power onto you, then that puts them in a position of power because they get to decide what they impart and what they don't. I don't want to, like, I feel like using the word groomed is, like, very, like, it's quite, it elicits quite a strong and visceral response. But, like, essentially, that's kind of what happened in my head, is that, like, Kalacta kind of groomed Rayna, but then Rayna just sort of got a bit too powerful for them. And also,
And they regretted
is an
it.
angry person who makes snap decisions. Does that answer the question? I don't know if it does.
Yeah, I think as well as the whole thing of, like, this is a god, an immortal being, and so what they view as, like, oh, you stole this, like, inconsequential thing, so here's your inconsequential punishment, is like, I stole your whole life, because they're like, oh, this is like this is like a couple minutes to an immortal god, you know?
The kind of thing as well of, like, oh yeah, the grandkid's basically the same as the person responsible, right?
Yeah.
Almost about to say, like, John from the Locked Tomb coded. Like, yeah, sure, the descendants are basically the same as the people responsible, right? That's basically, you can just punish the lot.
Yeah, and there is kind of an idea of, like, if somebody that you're related to somehow did a bad thing, then you're the person who has to sort of take the punishment for it. But the actual context, like, truthfully, I haven't fully decided, like, what made Raina's grandmother steal the flute in the first place.
She was a D&D character.
Loot.
Yes, she basically was like, cool, loot, but
Probably saw some
there
money
was
too.
something else going on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question, because I also want to know about backstory stuff.
Yeah.
Why was the Delphi angry at Tor / what entity did Tor encounter in the demiplane?
Yeah, I want to know this.
So I found that really, really, really interesting, like, my experience of playing that versus all of your experience, like, experiencing that as players, because the Delphi wasn't angry at Tor. They were just, like...
You don't belong here.
They were just sort of curious, curious, and the Delphi is even less of a person-like entity than, for example, Calacta. Calacta, at the very least, is like a sort of embodied version of a god. The Delphi is a godlike thing, and is liminal space. I was about to say personified, but not even personified. They're more like an environment, and so that environment is going to be essentially hostile to anybody that comes into it that isn't supposed to be there. So Tor kind of being brought into this environment, Tor was able to see the Delphi in its true context, because he wasn't brought in via the kind of like glamour that was given to Delphi to make it less terrifying. And fundamentally, he wasn't supposed to be in there. I think that what I was trying to convey was this sort of like detached, like curiosity in the way that like a toddler might look at an ant and be like, ooh.
This is very eldritch.
Yeah, and I think what came across was like threatening, which isn't necessarily untrue.
That is a toddler looking at an ant, though. I mean, yeah, like speaking
Yeah.
from my perspective, the reason why Tosia was so emotional about it is for people who like aren't aware, my wonderful partner was the person who was playing Tor,
Yeah.
who like knows my little brother, who Tor is very much based on.
Yeah.
There is kind of like, I'm not sure how many of you as sort of cast members and listeners have like, I would say intimately encountered teenage boys, but I mean like know them on a very deep personal level.
Yeah.
And in my experience, they'll just kick off. So if there's something that's super powerful in their vicinity, I'm like, move, like, I'm getting you out of there because you are going to die because you're going to do a stupid, stubborn thing or say something thoughtless and rude.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was something like exciting about that because the Delphi has like, I think abstractly, in the way that like, if you know, like when you see a bug, you're like, wow, this little guy is probably terrified of me. So I'm gonna be like, hey, little dude, don't worry, I'm here to keep you safe. I'm gonna take you out the window.
Which is still terrifying.
So, but it's still terrifying.
It doesn't actually communicate anything useful to the bug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think the Delphi is kind of a version of that, is like creating this workshop for Delphi because they understand that they need to preserve the like mental salience of this person that is going to be their messenger and their prophet. They need to be able to keep this person's mind intact, and so creating this like lovely familiar space that is completely unreal is what they do.
It's the equivalent of like the angels appearing to people and be like, "Do not
Be not afraid."
Be not afraid. It's that. It's like, you're fine. You're chill. I made
Yeah.
you a little box you can sit in. Look at
Yeah.
your little thing.
So the time when the seer tries to look at the crystal and got a straight shot of eye bleeding, was that due to raw, unfiltered Delphi, basically?
Yes, raw unfiltered Delphi, and also again like the Delphi, I think, being more actively hostile to somebody who has the power to like divine the future, because
Well, that's a mosquito. That might bite you.
exactly
Yeah.
like something. Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's like something.
It's a little
that-
bug, but it's one you don't like.
Exactly, like Tor was just kind of there, so the Delphi was like, it's not important for me to sort of caretake for this creature. He's here, he's not supposed to be, but he's not posing a threat to me. Whereas with the seer, it's like, you're poking around where I don't necessarily want you to be poking around. It's my prophet's job to know what they need to know, and I'm going to reveal that information to them very specifically and very, like, abstractly. So yeah, that's definitely...
So the Delphir has a really rare endangered cricket in their beautiful terrarium, and they've built this lovely terrarium and they keep it nice and warm and like appropriately damp, and they put a little insect for the cricket to eat. But they do squish spiders sometimes or shove a centipede out the door, and they don't want mosquitoes in here.
Yeah.
What a beautiful analogy.
I love that. If any of us was going to be compared to a cricket, it would be Delphi.
Oh, yeah.
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 Any other questions?
I think because this is kind of there's two questions, but they're the same question for all of us. Is there any avenues you regret not exploring?
Ooh,
yeah,
with your characters, and in the case of Ellie, with the thing.
Yeah, you guys go first because I'll have a little think, and I'm also going to edit this so that we cross out the ones that we've already done.
This is a question from Barefoot Backpacker.
I have an answer.
Hmm?
I kind of wish we could have explored the bloodline with Tozzy's uncle a bit more. Like, I had, like, a big sort of fight in my mind, boss fight for that, which I thought could be really cool. And, like, ultimately, the story was satisfying and, like, ended in kind of a way that made sense. But, yeah, I just wish we could have done, like, more character backstory stuff in general.
Truthfully, I think I would have loved to have done more stuff with your uncle as well. And like, the whole kind of, like, detour to Gaimaris wasn't necessarily in my original plan, but I was like, I feel like we'd be missing something if we didn't have the chance to properly explore this.
There's so much politics and like cool cities, just a cool city in there. Like, you gotta do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But from a narrative perspective, I think if we were playing a traditional game where we were sitting down at a table, I'd feel much more comfortable being like, okay, yeah, and then we're gonna have this big boss fight. But like, for the purposes of like us keeping relatively streamlined, I say 5 years later, lol, as a story, there were a lot of questions for me as like, okay, so if you fight your uncle, what happens to
what happens next?
Like the nobility, like, like,
does Am have to stay to be in charge now?
Do you have to stay to be in charge? Does it fall to your brother? Is there upset about the fact that you've challenged an elder? Like, how does that ripple across society? And also, like, I'd kind of fed in the, like, pro-democracy elements as well, because I also felt like that was some fertile ground. But ultimately, yeah, it's not that any of those would be bad. I think they're all really interesting questions to ask in a story.
But they weren't relevant to the immediate plot at hand.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, I can't sort of neatly tie this up in a bow and then, like, be like, and now back to time things.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't do it justice in the context, and so I didn't really touch it at all, which, I mean, it's a shame.
It's also a kind of thing of, like, how much is it that this one particular guy is a problem versus the culture of the entire city? Like, you can't fix everything by killing one guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I set it up like that.
Yeah. I think I said this before, but I would have loved for Delphi to actively work against the party more.
That would have been cool. Yeah, for sure.
There were a lot of times where Delphi kept secrets and didn't tell information and didn't put forward information, but, like, they rarely... Well, the only time that they did that is when they just... We had a disagreement, and the way that Delphi dealt with it was by murdering someone rather than by not murdering them. But I would have liked it to be like, no, Delphi is going to destroy this thing that we need, is going to hurt this person that seems fine. All of those things. Because I think that's a excellent trope to play off as a warlock, to be like, I'm going to follow my patron and they are telling me that this guy needs to die or this thing needs to be destroyed.
A side note as well, Delphi was absolutely my favourite character PC in the party.
Wow, okay.
Tozia did not trust her at all, but, like, I mean, in terms of, like, whenever I go into a new piece of media, my favourite character is more often than not the weird little guy. And like, I feel like that really encapsulates Delphi as a character. I love morally complicated and occasionally unlikable characters. They're my favourite. And that's why Delphi was my favourite PC.
Wow, you still don't like Morgan?
Hey, Toz for that same reason. Very unlikable, but was allowed for some of the most interesting conversations. I think without Toz, it would have meant that we didn't have as many conversations about how the world works.
I will never forget. You guys, I think the police are bad.
I love that. So good. I think it's really interesting that you bring that up because, like, I never wanted to sort of push you into those situations, but I did set up the finale to very much be like, and then Delphi is going to stab a party member. And that has to happen. Like, that has to happen in order to trigger things.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen, like, I had a whole scenario written out for, like, what would you do if you said, no, I don't want to do that, then the crystal would do it for you, pretty much. And then there are, like, you know, like, there were kind of like, okay, what if, like, Toz stepped in the way? And, like, I had sort of contingencies because I didn't want to just be like, and then Deus Ex Machina. But I found it really interesting that because of the way that the information was revealed, because of the questions that you asked at the moment that you asked them, the information about what you needed to do was revealed to everybody as a party at the same time, which I think the more I play TTRPGs, the less I'm like, less interested I am in like having secrets kept from other players, and the more interested I am in having secrets kept from characters. And the other thing is that you decided to do that in like a very different way, where like you communicated that with the party and they all were like a bit scared but on board. And I think that only could have happened because of the way in which the party had interacted previously. So I wonder if we had more of Delphi doing bad stuff or like counter to, then there probably would have been less trust.
I think it would have been earlier, and I think it would have meant that they trusted them faster. Because it's the thing of when you put people in a situation where they do to betray your trust, you can then be like, you need to trust us. Whereas we did have that same kind of thing happen, but it happened much later. And I wish we'd been able to do those big, like, the team falls apart moments.
Well, we had one.
Chloe and Katie, answer the question.
My answer was a little bit going to be kind of similar to Delphi, because, like, we had a kind of thing in there briefly where Morgan was having this secret job offer from Tozya's uncle. And I think I talked about that with Leo a little bit before we put it in, and which never really created any big tension, because by the time we got to it, it was like, oh yeah, he gave me this job offer, but I guess he's evil, so I guess I won't accept it.
Hello, everyone. We're taking a little break here to say a big thank you for listening to our little podcast. If you enjoy what you're hearing and think it deserves to be heard by the world, we now have plenty of ways you can support the podcast and help us do just that. You can join our Patreon, where we release bonus content every month, including side quest episodes, talk shows, and more. You can even play one-shot games with the cast, and you'll get a shout-out at the end of the episode. Plus, you can head to our merch store to take a little piece of Doma home with you, including the gorgeous artwork Couch Tarot made of our Campaign 1 characters. If you enjoy the music I write for the podcast, you can stream it for free or buy it to keep on Bandcamp. And as always, you can throw us a little thank you in the form of a one-time donation. Just go to our website, deckofmanyaces.com, where you'll find links to all those amazing things. And if you don't have any cash to spare, we still think you're awesome. You're here, aren't you? Hop on into our Discord to chat with our community or share the podcast on social media and with your friends. It all helps and we appreciate all of it. So, what are you waiting for? Go to deckofmanyaces.com and get exploring. Today's promo is for Session Zero Heroes, a podcast using a wide variety of TTRPG systems to create hilarious, emotional, and captivating actual play stories. Roll the trailer!
What does Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dungeons & Dragons, horrifying monsters, and a group of weirdos all have in common? They're all featured in the Session Zero Heroes podcast, That's what. At SCH, we collaboratively create stories from a variety of tabletop role-playing games, such as Avatar Legends, which is set in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, or the most well-known TTRPG, Dungeons & Dragons, the spooky Monster of the Week, and so many more. If you're a fan of unexpected twists and turns as a team of players creates characters thrown into insane worlds of the Dungeon Master's creation, then this is the show for you. Come join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else podcasts can be streamed, including our website at sessionzeroheroes.com. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Discord for all our news and announcements, and to become part of our amazing TTRPG community that we're building. You won't want to miss out on Session Zero Heroes podcast, so check it out today.
Morgan never really had the same kind of deeply plot involved, like the evil uncle bad guy thing, or the obviously all the crystal stuff, which I think you said, Ellie, is like there's only so much of that you can get in. you can only squeeze so much of that in, and I am very bad at writing backstories. I don't write backstories. The character shows up, it's vibes, they do stuff, they chill, whatever. I'm not very good at ongoing character arcs and plots and things. I just here for a good time, so...
I don't think that's true.
Oh yeah, but I didn't plot anything out for Morgan, and we didn't, she's just kind of there. She's chilling.
That's actually made me think, this is a very small thing that I regret not leaning into more, but we had a big conversation at the beginning of the campaign about how Morgan's wings were like a big deal, and as a DM, especially at the beginning of the campaign, I didn't know how to represent that appropriately, because I didn't want it to be an allusion to racism, which I don't feel like I can speak to. I didn't want it to be an allusion to disability, which again I'm not 100% sure that I feel comfortable. I was trying to avoid finding an in-world equivalent prejudice that people would be like, oh my god, wow, you got this weird freakish thing that's different.
Do you think visible queerness could have been a good pull?
I mean, yeah, probably, now that I think about it. I mean, now you've said it, that's such a good analogy, and but I guess it not to do myself down a bit, but I don't think I was brave enough to really think about it. And I think I was really conscious as well that it was a public facing thing, and I didn't want to make something that would be in poor taste. So I kind of aired way too on the safe side, so it didn't feel like Morgan's wings were this huge burden that she's had to deal with, and so she didn't really ever get to kind of liberate herself from that. So that is something that I feel like I don't feel like I explored well.
In retrospect, 5 years on, maybe I would have set that up differently and maybe hadn't really thought through how to handle that, or without getting into a bunch of real world things that I haven't experienced. Yeah, let's just leave it at that and say maybe that trying to tackle it might have been a mistake, and just leaving it as is probably...
I think visible queerness is something that we all have experience of in one way or another, that we could definitely have spoken to, that we... But yeah, we were 5 years younger, we'd never done this before. It's fine.
Yeah.
If I was going to do it again from the beginning now, I would feel a bit braver doing that.
Yeah. I think it ended up in a place that I feel was quite a good place to leave it in, because ultimately, I feel like anybody that has experience of being any kind of minority, at the end of the day, you can win stuff, and you can liberate yourself, and you can get better at things, and you can make a difference. But at the end of the day, there is always still, Ellie, you literally said at the end, there is still always people that aren't going to treat you the same. And it's just the truth. So I think it's a pretty good place to leave it, considering that we hadn't really explored it a lot, in that okay, things are a bit better for Morgan now, but fundamentally nothing's really changed, because we haven't really explored it. If we had, maybe it would be a lot better, but there would still be a few people that aren't going to let that go.
Also, like, I mean, without getting too deep into politics, like, we all know that being the good queer and or doing things that are great for the world and society and community can't save you from the cruel people out there.
Yeah.
Chloe, is there anything that you would have liked to explore?
I would have liked to explore more of the world that we created, because I think we did a pretty good job of, because at the start we had all of these like places and we had like different groups of people that lived in the places and things to like set up the world. And I think we did explore most of them, to be honest. But we definitely didn't get the orc wizards in the far north. And I really liked the orc wizards. So I would have liked to. I think I vaguely remember you mentioning an orc wizard like once, like in the background or something. But we never really had any proper, even somewhere else having like contact with that sort of group of people. We didn't really get to do that, and I would have liked that.
It is a shame, because I do have a very deep love for Stunkbug, who is Adam Conover's character in Nadpod, who is Orc Frasier, and that's kind of what I was hoping we would get to encounter.
Oh,
I did have an idea for a one-shot in that place at some point, but that was
cool.
a long time ago, and at that point it was like, oh, cool, other people are going to do it, so I don't need to think about this ever again.
However, we did unintentionally, and how could we, because it was before it existed, name the place a very similar name to the boy band in K-pop Demon Hunters. So
What did we name it?
It's called Seja, and they're the Saja boys.
Seja,
Yeah, I think that I don't think that's that bad.
It's not that bad.
No,
but
I really want to lean into it, though. I think actually we should be...
I immediately thought of it, and I was like, oh no.
My little soda pop. Any other questions?
I've got a question.
Yeah, go on, Katie.
for it.
This is, I guess, general, which is, I'd like individual answers probably. What would have happened if any of the tall girls had been killed in combat or misadventure? I want you to give me your 10-second thought brief of what your new PC would be. Go.
Oh.
Orc Wizard!
That's another barefoot backpacker one.
I will answer this first to kind of give world context, which is I don't really know. It did come close a couple of times, and so I always had in my back pocket that if somebody went down, that Raina had a wish spell.
But what were you going to do if I'd said, no, I'm going to do something completely different?
Then I don't know. The truth of it is, like, I don't know how it would have shaped the story, but I was kind of open to the idea that if, like, a different character had come along, that they would have joined the party, and I would try and kind of bring in some things from their kind of backstory to weave it into the kind of the existing narrative. I think, like, if Delphi had died, then maybe potentially, like, the crystal, maybe one of you would have had the chance to, like, multi-class into Warlock. Like, that feels like the most kind of sensible thing. I don't know, like, Raina's kind of an interesting one, because I'm like, the story, like, emotively, the story kind of needs Raina, but, like, in terms of, like, Raina as a character, I don't know that it's, like, I don't know what...
I think God might have had to intervene to forcibly bring her back to life again.
I don't know, I'd like to think that I have the wherewithal to have, like, reworked the story to work without Raina, but I'm not 100% sure what I would have done for that.
If someone had died, we would have had to have a very long chat about it. It's the actual thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my answer is that I went in with a backup character, which was Toji's younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it had been after we met him, then I probably would have done, like, an orc wizard.
My answer is that you would have had to deal with Jacob the Ghostbuster with the creepy doll. He would have showed up out of the blue to save the day and then be useless for the rest of the campaign.
I would love that.
I had so many childhood friends who were like Jacob, because it was one of those things at my school where, like, all of the loser kids hung out together. So it was like me, the burnouts, and the religious kids, and the, like, conspiracy theory kids, all hanging out with nothing in common apart from the fact that no one really liked us.
Yeah.
But you say that it wouldn't have been the same emotively without Raina, but yeah, well, it wouldn't have been the same, but I don't think it necessarily needs anything changing, especially if you've got the other party members still there, because then it becomes there's still going to be that interaction with Seth, but from a completely different standpoint.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
We have to save Seth for Raina, and then
we have to find and exhume her body to stab her.
And also, we're dealing with time magic.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
dragging her corpse around the whole time.
There could have been a whole, like, kind of betrayal thing of, oh, Raina did what? We never knew that. Did we really know Raina? And then finding out why she did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been interesting, but it would have been different.
Yeah, and I would have, like, if Raina had died, the lock would have changed. Like, the lock would have become something different. I have no idea what it would have become, and it probably would have been influenced by, like, any other character choices.
You could have made the lock the multi-scored Void Operative themselves and be like, you have to do deicide.
You do have to kill them
in order to find out about the prior deicide.
Deicide 2.
Yeah.
I'm down to kill God.
Yeah, that's cool. Electric Boogaloo.
God, imagine doing that. You're like, I'm sorry, we've got to kill you. and then you find out, well, I don't think we did actually have to kill you to find that out. That was,
Yeah. What about Raina and Delphi? Did you have ideas for characters?
Nah. I would have had to come up with something. I would have really struggled.
You did hit the nail on the head with Delphi just right out of the gate. Like, 100%. You nailed it.
I think I would have either had to play something very much on the same lines. Like, I could just have someone who, like, walks up in the middle of the fight and picks up the crystal and becomes the new representative of the Delphi, because that's kind of what the Delphi wanted, is just like anyone.
Delphi's cousin, Elfie.
Yeah.
No, but like, just it would be like whatever city we're in, just someone from that city comes over randomly and is like, oh, here, what's this I've got?
I think an undead Delphi would have been pretty cool as well.
Oh yeah, we could have done that.
Yeah,
we could have done that.
Delphi just comes back as a skeleton. Cool. Like,
yeah. I've actually already done that as a character, so I maybe wouldn't have wanted to. My second D&D character ever was a skeleton.
Amazing.
Great. Fun.
Yeah.
I've never had to actually do this because I've never had a character in a campaign actually die, but if I do, I don't feel the need to like make new characters, because then I'm like, can I play one of the NPCs, please? Please?
Yeah.
I don't know who I would pick. I like Flot. Flot has a lot of my heart, but I don't think I would want to play Flot.
Felicity?
Yeah.
Felicity. Oh, maybe Felicity. Felicity was cool. I did like Felicity.
We'd have had 2 time wizards in the... Oh, wait, we had a gravity wizard.
She wasn't completely a wizard.
It would have been very funny if Morgan died and then I came back, I'm going to play Felicity, actually.
Also, Felicity was a sorcerer, like 100% a wild magic sorcerer.
Oh, I would like to play a wild magic sorcerer, to be fair. I don't think I've ever done that. That would be fun.
They are fun.
Yeah, maybe Felicity. Fun. Except I can't do an Irish accent.
I mean, can I do an Irish accent?
Well, wild magic would do it to her. Wild magic that's the kind of thing that would absolutely, your accent changed.
Yeah. That happens in real life.
But I do think that my Irish accent is bad at best.
It's better than mine. You'll find out, because we have a canonical Irish character in our home campaign that I will have to play at some point. So,
Ooh, fun. I'm torn between a couple questions because I want to make sure that we get one question from everyone.
We can do a speed round.
Yeah, just ask one person the question.
We can do a speed round where Ellie doesn't get to answer any questions.
Ha!
Can I do 2 quick questions? Because I've got one that's just for Eiriol and then one for everybody.
Go.
So, quick question from Ouroboros. What was the deal with the Spicy Forest ghost ooze?
I was going to ask that one. I want to know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. I think I kind of said this after the session, but not on tape. So,
yes.
It's the ooze is like, the way that I described it is the finger of a demon. It is like an incredibly powerful demon that is like putting out little plots and schemes into the world to try and like get power. And this one was to just like, hey, what if I made a house that killed people and killed every single living thing in it and absorbed all the energy that came from doing that? And that's what the ooze was. It was just like, this is how you do it. You got to put some ooze down. At the end of the session, every character was like really scared that they had summoned the ire of this like ancient demon. And I was like, it doesn't care. This is one of hundreds of schemes and plots that they do. You are ants to this creature. And this ant bit its finger and went, ooh, ow, I don't want to be here anymore. And then moved on. And it's really funny because I think everyone is like, oh, this H thinks that. It don't care. It's fine. It's just chilling.
Next quick question.
Yeah.
This is more of a question for everyone. This is from Callum. were there any points as players or as a DM where a choice by someone else had to make you completely change your idea of where your story was going?
No.
Yes.
For example, obviously you decided to abdicate after seeing the Seth thing. But if you have any other examples.
Yeah, I think the way that you and Will chose to characterize Tor made me completely change my thoughts on like what Tozia wanted for him as a person and what I wanted for them both in their relationship. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I think just like the entire campaign, I very much went into it with like, do whatever you want to the Delphi and I will react as much as I can.
Mm-hmm. It's less of a story thing, but I don't think I would have multi-classed if Am hadn't done it first. So I don't think Am really influenced my choice of multi-class, but I probably wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Toz was always going to be a multi-class. I just thought she was going to be a paladin multi-class,
yeah.
and she ended up being a barbarian multi-class.
Say love.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head from Morgan, apart from what we kind of already talked about with the getting with the time god at the end. Where radically in about 1 minute I was like, oh, okay, I know what Morgan's doing now, and it's not what she was doing before.
Yeah, that was fun. I think for me, there's two things. I mean, the first one is the really obvious one, which is that I had not written an island arc at all, and you were all like, well, we need to go to the island, and I was like, yeah, you do. Why didn't I think of that? Oh no. So that, like, and I think that actually, as much as I like find that difficult to listen to because I was super burnt out and I can really tell in the storytelling, I think it was really useful because it front loaded you with more information than I was necessarily preparing to give you at that point. I know that it didn't feel like it, but you knew a lot more after being on the island than I would have originally anticipated you knowing. And I think that set us up for a more interesting story where you were like actually grappling with the mystery instead of just like bimbling around like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Just because you reminded me, so Will messaged me and was like, so Am's told me all about the different gods, and I think that Tor would like to be a cleric of Calacta. And I was like,
Funny you say that.
Wow! Okay, like I was not planning on doing anything particularly like religious-y. It was just going to be like political machinations happening with your uncle, but then adding in the cult of Calacta and also adding in the like extra layer of like Calacta's dead, so how is this kid a priest of Calacta? Like, how are they?
That was good.
How is he able to get power? It's got to come from Seth. So, and then he's got to kind of be a bit of a chosen one because nobody else has access to this power at the moment. So how, like, so that character choice from Will created the whole of that arc, I think, really, because it was originally it was just going to be political, and adding the kind of like religious undercurrent and the like golden mask and all of that kind of stuff made it way more fizzy. So I'm thrilled that Will came to me with that suggestion.
Did you tell Will about Calacta not actually being Calacta?
No. I said there are some interesting reasons that makes that a sort of spicier choice than like just a standard choice. And so I gave him the context that like he was the only one who was able to communicate with Calacta at the moment. But I didn't tell him why. I didn't tell him that it was Seth. It was just such a great character choice.
Does he know now?
Good job, Will. I actually don't know.
Yeah, I've been telling him.
Okay, good.
When
Good.
Lenanon came up, I told him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, you already knew that." And I was like, "What?"
Okay, I did tell him some things then.
Teehee.
Clearly. Teehee. I'd forgotten that I told him.
I have an idea for a last question, if we want to do last
Oh,
question.
last question.
Which is, what piece of story or dialogue or dynamic do you hold most dear?
Oh, I can answer.
That's from Lua? I don't know. Lucien, I think, is the name based on what I can tell. But yeah. You know who you are.
Yeah, my answer is definitely Tozia and Raina's relationship. As I've said many times, like, this podcast, obviously giving my friendship with all of you, it was how I met Chloe, who is now like one of my closest IRL friends, and so I really value the relationship between the characters because I feel like it is parallel to our friendship.
Aww. Yeah. That's so cute. I never forget base him in Eiriol and send him on his way.
Oh yeah! Yes! We gotta make some stickers out of that.
Yeah, that particular scene, that entire, like, oh no, a corpse, what do we do with it? Miscommunication, bickering, different problem-solving methods was some iconic D&D, and I loved it. A little bit less cute.
No, it's great.
It's
important.
It's one of my favourite moments.
Yeah.
You're so right. It's one of my favourite moments.
I love Delphi being just like a menace.
Oh, yeah.
To all the other party members.
Yes.
Like, at every point, Delphi has been rude and curt and all of these things, and it's great fun sometimes to just be like, yeah, I'm going to be a menace to you. I'm going to... And then also at times taking a while and going, actually, I think you're fundamentally wrong and morally in the wrong here, and I'm going to, like, nail you on why. Even if they're right or wrong, but, like, just, is a nice thing. It was fun.
I enjoy that every time Raina, with an intelligence score of, I believe, -1, maybe 0, would come across something that she didn't understand, and I'd be like, Morgan? And I really enjoyed just being like, I'm going to go ask Morgan now. And then you would, like, 90% of the time be like, I don't know any more than you do. And it was just great to be like, okay, huh.
Yeah. There's so many great moments. Like, I have, like lots and lots in my head. I think mostly because of who I am and my sensibilities, like, roleplay rather than, like, kind of crunchy D&D stuff. Even really, really small things that felt kind of not important to the plot, like the conversation that Bree and Morgan had on like an overnight, like on a night shift, was just like really lovely and fun to...
I can't even remember which one you mean.
It was like really, really early on, but like it was a chance for like, it was kind of a chance for Morgan to talk a little bit more about like her experiences of moving through the world, and like, yeah, it was just a really lovely chat. Actually, one of my favourite things about doing the social media in the run-up to the finale was that I was trying to find good quotes from all of you, and like, with the exception of base this boy in veggie oil and send him on his way, like, there's not really, it's much harder to kind of think of like really iconic quotes from early on, because they just don't stick in my head for very long. But I managed to find really gorgeous quotes from all of you, actually from like the last sort of 5 episodes. But one of my favourite ones was Delphi, I think, lashing out at the party after your altercation with Felicity, where Felicity had basically been like, I don't want to be friends anymore because you all didn't look after me properly. And yeah, Delphi really went off on one, was like, no, we need to take responsibility for this, and I take responsibility for all of the harm that I've done. And it was just like, it was just such a, like, yeah, it was just a very strong role-playing moment, and it was really, just really juicy.
Every moment of roleplay that we did was wonderful. The worst parts of the campaign were definitely when we were playing D&D, and the best parts were when we were talking.
I mean, it's kind of just playing D&D, isn't it?
I don't think that's because D&D is bad for it. It's that we are good at talking, and that D&D didn't facilitate that as well as it could.
Yeah. Sometimes it did, but yeah.
A little snippet of what is to come, but I have some systems I'm really excited to pitch to run.
Yeah.
That will do lots of talking.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's probably a really good place to end this episode out. Good choice of last question.
There's so many more questions, but we've been here an hour, so we probably shouldn't answer them.
We can answer them in text. If
I was going to say, for anybody who asked questions in the Discord, we will do our best to kind of come round to them and answer them in our own time and individually. So that there will be some answers, I hope, but this is probably all we've got time for on air.
That's all, folks.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a break, a hiatus, while we let everyone rest, particularly Chloe, and cook up some new campaign ideas and basically just like plan everything. The way that we're going to be releasing episodes is going to be slightly different moving forward. And if you're on our Patreon, you'll be getting a front row seat to all of the behind the scenes stuff as we figure out,
even if you join for free,
what the heck we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, even if you join for free, we'll be updating you.
Also, we're not going away just yet because we have another one shot
Oh yeah! Sorry. Chloe, do you want to tell us what we've got to look forward to?
We do. Well, you've already had the wonderful What Haunts Us one shot with our lovely ghosts, and we are going to be having another one shot in the next couple of weeks of Overgrown with the lovely Ben running his game, which was very, very fun.
I played the ultimate trash animal. It was really fun.
It was very fun. We were all trash in our own ways, especially Ellie, though.
Yes. Trash by name, trash by nature. That's all, folks. I think we should just close this out.
Toodles.
Yeah.
Bye!
Bye!
Have a nice week! Deck of Many Aces is Am Chisholm, Eiriol Evans, Ellie Webster, Katie McLeod, and me, Chloe Elliott. Big thanks to our patrons Nate Scott Jones, Ouroboros, EK Green, Space Ben, Callum D, Ibad, KP, Steph Burke-Stelia, Josh, and Kat Dale. You can join that legendary list and get bonus content at patreon.com/deckofmanyaces. Find out more about us and what we're up to by going to our website, deckofmanyaces.com, or following us on social media. The campaign may be over, but we have a cracking schedule coming up for you all. There's not one, but 2 one-shots on their way, showcasing some of the amazing indie games our friends in the TTRPG community are making. And we'll be recording a Q&A episode to answer your questions about the podcast, campaign, and beyond. Join our Discord and put your questions in the Q&A channel, or send them to deckofmanyaces@gmail.com, and we might just read it out on the show. And that's not all. We are so pleased to announce that our merch store is now officially open. Right now you can order Doma tote bags and beautiful A3 posters of Couch Tarot's amazing artwork. There will be plenty more products appearing in time, so check back to see what goodies you can get. Go to deckofmanyaces.tmail.com with dashes between the words, or go to the link on our website to find it. You can also buy my entire soundtrack, or individual albums and tracks, to download and keep on Bandcamp at deckofmanyaces.bandcamp.com. If Doma isn't enough for you and you need more, you can find our cast in some other places on the internet. Listen to me and Am every other Thursday on RWD, an indie TTRPG podcast where we play scum and villainy. You can also hear me voice the wizard Eadith in Legend of the Bones, and find out what Ellie's up to by going to elliewebster.co.uk or signing up to their mailing list in the episode description. Plus, keep an eye on 3 actual play YouTube channels, Theatre Macabre, Who Hurt You, and EUphoria, where I will be playing in games releasing later this year. And with that, that's it from me. Have a nice week. Bye!